But they aren't done trying to squeeze you out, Vandel. There's a real warning in this. You've got to stay in the game. I don't talk about leverage. It's much more important you stay in this game. The move will make you rich. Don't be shaken out. You'll be offered leverage. It's like being offered a credit card with a low teaser rate. You have to be seriously careful about what you're doing, because there will be volatility. You could actually have this entire pump with a demand destroying event. Don't forget the run up. We got a bit of a precursor on Bitcoin. Remember Bitcoin at 10K, we called the 14K, that was a half run. We said that's done, it's going to come off. You went from 14K, they threw the demand destroying event that was March 2020, which I won't say the name of, and you had a capitulation down to 4K. And most got, imagine how many people got cleaned out. I remember how that was chucking down. I was shocked. I was watching it and I was going, wow. And we were calling for a major upside macro HVF. It bounced back up, it formed and it broke. But before there's a major shakeout, the community watching this, they don't want you in it. They want it solely to be them. They are in the business of stripping you of your wealth to maximize their own. They want all the chips in the casino. They want you with none. The game for you is that to recognize there is actually a war being fought against you building wealth, and the game is to stay in the game. And you, without real good training and very moderate, you should avoid leverage. And you should be staying in the game. The move will make you the money.
So staying in the game is the name of the game, with Bitcoin dropping over 8%, XRP dropping over 20%. In this video, we're going to be talking about what is happening in the crypto markets, how to prepare, what's coming next, demand destroying events on the disbelief stage before we get to hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria that you need to be ready for. So if you guys are backing up the truck for the dip, comment 777. If you're feeling blessed, comment 777. If you're feeling bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, take your putter, grab the like button, tap it in, okay? You missed the putt over the past 24 hours. You got to tap it in. You got to sink the putt. You got to do it for grandma. We're beating the SEC and we're buying her house back with XRP. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So waking up this morning, usually in the middle of the night, this type of stuff happens, right? Shakeout events, down 5% in terms of the total market cap over the past 24 hours. Bitcoin's back to $43,000. So show goes on, right? We saw Bitcoin liquidate a lot of long traders right here. You guys can see on the chart right now, Bitcoin went all the way down to 40K, back down to this upward trending support right here. And it liquidated a lot of longs and a lot of shorts as well too. So Bitcoin's ETF denial report did not cause this 8% Bitcoin price crash, according to this. So here's what's really taking place that you need to be ready for, because $103 million in leveraged Bitcoin positions were liquidated in just 1 hour. This was 2 Bitcoin fake outs cleaning the market in both directions. So the exchanges, the elite, can make more money, because when they liquidate longs, leverage traders, then the leverage traders don't make as much money, because when you put in a leverage trade at like 50x, 20x, or 200x leverage at a certain price and Bitcoin goes above that, well, you're making a significant amount of money. If Bitcoin doesn't go back down to that price that you entered your trade at, or your stop loss, then it's infinite gains to the upside. And so exchanges in the elite, they need to liquidate those positions so they can make more money. And right before the dump, Matrixport reported that the US SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, would not approve any Bitcoin ETFs this month. And according to CoinGlass, the liquidation heat map showed that over $500 million had been wiped off the table. Bitcoin took a large part of the hit, but this news was based on the ETFs that's still in question. So it's all based on rumors. That's why the price is bouncing back really quick. And the justification of the negative news and the negative articles is, politics. There's 5 voting commissioners that are Democrats. Democrats don't like crypto. Applicants haven't satisfied the SEC's requirements. There's no political justification to approve a Bitcoin ETF. And Gary Gensler is a worm that doesn't like crypto. So those are all the negative things that are the headwinds that could delay or deny the ETFs. And despite the current market dump and bearish short-term outlook, there is still a positive long-term perspective for Bitcoin. So you just got to relax. Hold your seat, right? These liquidation events are to shake out longs and wipe off leverage off the table. So if you believe in crypto long-term, then the day-to-day price fluctuations shouldn't bother you. But if you emotionally can't handle it because you've invested more than you can afford to lose, then you might want to head over to the food court, get your diet soda, go sit on the sidelines, get off the roller coaster, because the loop-de-loop is always the best part that's coming to get the new riders to lose their lunch. And I'll talk about that by the end of this video. What is the loop-de-loop? What is the, flip around, get everyone to throw up their lunch off the ride and never want to ride the roller coaster again? So that is the biggest thing to prepare for coming up in March. And so I'm going to share that with you guys in a little bit. But looking at Bitcoin's price chart, you can see the open interest aggregated, which shows the total leverage right here that was wiped off the table. It was at like $4+ billion in leverage, and it went all the way down. I have to move my zesty mug off the screen to see what's going on there with that leverage, but $3.3 billion. Ooh, that's ugly. Almost as ugly as Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres in a bar fight. And that's ugly. And I'll tell you what, if we go to the day on the price chart right here, you guys can see this upward trending support right here. So there's still a lot of leverage on the table. We're at 3.5 billion. And to wipe off even more, could bring us all the way back down to 2.5 billion before the end of the year in a demand destroying event. So this is just a quick pullback. This isn't a correction. We're still back to where we were at the beginning of the year. So January 1st, so we haven't cleaned out this upward trending support yet. If we were to break below this upward trending support, then we might be coming back down to 38, 35K for Bitcoin. But we're holding this. We're back up to 43K. The show goes on, and we're looking bullish. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the monthly on the RSI, we're sitting at 63 on the RSI. So we're neither in overbought or oversold conditions. We're right in the middle, very similar to what was happening back here, in 2019 before that correction. Then also right here, back in June of 2016 before a correction. And so we're almost up to the level of 2019 and 2016. That was about 67 on the RSI. So we're about, 5 points away on the stochastic RSI. We are above 100. We're actually sitting at 100 right now. But one thing that's interesting to note, guys, is when the last time we went above, 70 or 80 on the stochastic RSI, we stayed above here during the entire bull run. So it doesn't mean that just because we're above here, we're going to come back down, because even during the bull run before that, we went above it in November of 2015 and stayed above it until January of 2018 during this entire period right here. There was only one period where it faked everyone out during the 2019 rally, where it went above it really quick, and then we saw the Federal Reserve start cutting interest rates. And so this period all through 2019, from June of 2019 until we passed it back again in November of 2020, was due to what the Federal Reserve was doing that I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit, cutting interest rates. And so 2024 could be a hybrid between what happened in 2019 and 2016 to 2017. And so I expect 2024 to be very, very volatile. Now, looking at total 2, which is a crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, so it's Ethereum and the rest of the altcoin market, we saw a back test of the resistance from August of 2022 as support, and we saw the entire altcoin market see a sell-off of 14-15% right there. And so the fact that we wicked off of this as support, very, very good news. And I think we're going to continue the uptrend going into this ETF news. And also, the SEC is holding meetings today with the exchanges, NASDAQ, CBOE, and New York Stock Exchange, to finalize comments on the 19B4S submitted by the Bitcoin spot ETF issuers. And so the Matrix report in turn should be sent to the gallows, according to Capo Burner. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that. But looking at the total altcoin market cap again, based on what's coming to this market, long term, we are so bullish. It's not even funny. In the short term, there's obviously going to be these sell-offs, guys, 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, 50, 60%. You got to be prepared for that. Just like a roller coaster ride, you got to be prepared for the loop-de-loop. Looking back at the total altcoin market cap, the resistance to watch is anywhere between $850 to $950 billion, which was support back during the complacency stage all the way back here in January of 2022. Arguably, people are measuring between this range right here of complacency, which is around $1 trillion, to the upside. So I would expect the altcoin market to trend up the rest of this week and to face some resistance within this price range, and then to see a sell-off further to the downside and to see an actual deeper correction, because this wasn't a correction. This was just a pullback. Looking at XRP, you just see one big red candle over 20% to the downside. Now, I talked about this zone of support to watch for, where if XRP doesn't break to the upside, with Bitcoin and good news about the ETF, we could see a quick shakeout event down to 55 cents, even all the way down to 50 cents to this upward trending support. And sure enough, we got that. Now, obviously, we're not right all the time, but hey, when we say one of two things could happen, we're going to be right 100% of the time, right? It's like those videos someone says, the market could go up or it could go down. Now pay $10,000 for signals, right? It's kind of dumb, but looking at this is what we have to expect is the most likely case scenario, right? Market likes to move to max pain first. And if you guys have been around a long period of time, human beings, all of us guys, we have a funny way of forgetting the past. And so this is all we remember, right? Our attention span, when you look at the attention span of us, it's like 5 seconds, right? What's a goldfish? I think like 6 or 7 seconds or somewhere around there. And so our attention span only remembers this far back, really. Maybe do you even remember what you ate for lunch last week? No. Do you even remember what you ate for lunch yesterday? Maybe, maybe not. I have to really think about it. When you have to think about something for longer than 5 seconds of what you ate for lunch yesterday, imagine thinking all the way back to these flash crash events that happen time and time and time again. Like, count all of the flash crash events right here. Post lawsuit, XRP declared not a security, boom, goes up, sells off, flash crash back down, right? Massive wick all the way down to 43 cents. XRP was decided that it's not a security on the secondary market. It was upwards of 95 cents July 14th. And then by August, one month later, middle of the month, it's down to 43 cents. So people could arguably say that XRP is over at that stage right here, and we're going further down. But look at the RSI. We're sitting right here on the RSI below 40, closer to 30. And so this is one of the best times. No financial advice. Don't buy, don't sell anything. But history would show that, and the charts are actually showing that this is where it's being bought up. It was bought up from 50 cents all the way to where we are right now. We're back to 58 cents for XRP. So we are holding this support right here, and the candle close for tomorrow will most likely be above this zone of support, which acted as resistance all the way back since September of 2022. And so flash crashes for XRP are nothing new. That's what the chart looks like all the way back to inception. It's nothing new. It's just part of the process, right? And so my thought process on what's going to happen here for XRP is we hold this support. Now, if there is a delay, the thing that would cause a further crash to the downside, potentially down to 40 cents below this upward trending support, which XRP has held, for over a year almost. Yeah, pretty much since like June of 2022, so what would cause a crash below this? Well, it would be denial or delay from the SEC. So I expect this support to hold until the news comes out. Now, if the news comes out and there is a delay, that would be a mass sell-off to either this upward trending support or below it all the way down to 46 cents right here, which is support that XRP has held all the way since May of 2023, July of 2023. So I would expect a sell-off down to here. If there's a delay, if there's a straight up denial, like ETFs are denied, they're not being approved and they need to change a bunch of stuff, all the way down to maybe 40 cents for XRP. And Bitcoin would come back down to like 35K and then eventually I think down to 30K before we see another bounce for Bitcoin. But with good news coming, that's positive for the crypto market. So holding this support, if the ETF is approved, I would expect XRP to break out very, very fast and retest the high of the post-lawsuit decision of 95 cents. Arguably, we could break way through that over the course of 2 weeks. So I would think XRP would come up to the high, consolidate really quick, and then over the course of 2 weeks with the good news, money to flow into the markets and to see one final push up for Q1 of 2024 to about $1.30. I talked about this in yesterday's video. This is the price target that I'm looking for XRP, about $1.30, which is a 618 retracement. It's also the resistance from the descending resistance from the high to the high of 2021. And then I would expect a rejection from here and consolidation for XRP. And then talking about what happens next, well, the psychology of a market cycle and what the Federal Reserve is going to do next would lead to a final shakeout event based on interest rates before we really go into hope, because we're in this disbelief rally right now where people don't believe what's happening in crypto. And so the disbelief rally comes before the hope stage. And so for XRP, a real disbelief rally would be $1.30, and then maybe another shakeout event with the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates drastically. People think that that's positive, guys. And I'm going to explain why that's not positive for the crypto market if they lower them rapidly, because of what happened during 2019 to 2020, and also what happened for 2008. Subprime mortgage crash, what happened for 2000 dot-com bubble boom. It's not good news. So it's actually the opposite of what other people have been telling you, that rate cuts are good. After the rates have been cut down to zero and they start coming back up, then it's good, because then they issue QE. But during the event of a rate cut, it causes mass scare in the markets. And so I would expect XRP to do something like this and through 2024 to work our way through here again. And then by the time they start raising them back up again, then and start printing more money, then we go into a full-fledged bull run for XRP at the end of, after Bitcoin's halving, at the end of 2024. This is what I would expect. Now, hey, we could break out further to the upside sooner, but expect the most likely case scenario. Now, I'm holding either way, so I don't care if XRP breaks out sooner, if we see a final shakeout event to the downside, and even if XRP comes back down to 30 cents, I'm just going to be buying more, because I know that XRP is the only project right now that has clarity other than Bitcoin, and long term, the company's making the biggest partnerships in the world. So why wouldn't you have this in your portfolio? I see a lot of big influencers and a lot of big YouTubers saying their portfolios, and they're not even mentioning XRP, which makes absolutely no sense, because they won the lawsuit. Now, they can make the argument about manipulation, but everything's manipulated. Look at the whole markets, guys. Look at what happened to the entire crypto market. It's all connected. And so to say XRP is manipulated is ignorant. Look at this. All of these charts are the exact same on this leverage liquidation event, because when Bitcoin gets liquidated, so do all altcoins, and they all drop. They all drop. Maybe a few outliers, right? Like the ones that, we talked about in previous videos. One of the ones that I'm the most bullish on is Internet Computer. ICP was up 60% the past week, 6% the past 7 days, 5% the past 24 hours. So ICP is going to be one of the best performers this bull run. So having a diversified portfolio is amazing. When XRP is underperforming and ICP is overperforming, and then you have projects like Chainlink as well too. There's a lot of other projects we're going to be talking about in future videos. Not financial advice. I'm bringing you guys the news, and what you choose to do is up to you. But hope means that a recovery is possible. So ETF, good news happens. We go into hope. That ETF news wears off. We see some type of 20, 30%, maybe 40% correction before we go into optimism, belief, and thrill at the end of 2024. Now, why do I say the end of 2024? Well, looking at the CME Fed Watch Tool that I talked about yesterday, January 31st, the end of the month, is the next FOMC meeting where they adjust interest rates. Now, interest rates are the benchmark of what happens in the whole entire economy. And the Fed funds rate is the main rate that affects all other interest rates. And the current target range for January's meeting is 525 to 550, meaning that they're planning on holding the line and just keeping the rates steady at what they're at. Now, January 31st, nothing to worry about. That's expected. So the markets aren't going to react too positively or negatively. The markets are just going to do whatever they're going to do towards the end of this month based on the ETF news for crypto. But March 20th, we need to look at 500 to 525, lowering the rates. 66% is expecting that. What are they going to do in May? 58% is expecting an even deeper rate cut. 50 basis points, maybe 75 basis points. June, 57% are expecting a deeper rate cut. July, and we go into July, guys, and it just gets even more, a higher percentage are expecting deeper rate cuts. Same thing with September. And so if March and beyond, they're expecting rate cuts, well, what does that mean? First and foremost, let's look at Bitcoin's chart compared to the past based on these rate cuts and what happened in the past. That's all we can look at, right? And so the Fed was raising the effective federal funds rate. You guys can see at the bottom for Bitcoin right here in September. The bottom was really January 2015, and this purple line is what the Fed was doing with their effective federal funds rate. It was steady. It was flat. They started raising rates right when Bitcoin started to break out. Bitcoin started to break out. We saw this correction consolidation period. They raised the rates up and then they kept them steady. Kept them steady while Bitcoin was seeing these rallies, break range, retest, backtest the previous range, consolidate, break out, boom, another breakout, another rate hike. So during the whole bull run, they were raising rates up with Bitcoin. Even during the bear market, they were raising rates up. When Bitcoin bottomed, they paused. Interesting, right? Bitcoin bottomed, they paused the rates, and then they started cutting the rates. It looked like July of 2019, right after Bitcoin had peaked in June, a month earlier in 2019. Then they started cutting the rates. Cut, cut, cut. And look what happened during that period of cutting. Bitcoin saw a sell-off from about $14,000 all the way down to $6,000. And so Bitcoin's rally for 2019's DeFi summer was done, 50% correction. And then they paused right here for an extended period of time, November 2019 until March of 2020. So how long was that period? Well, that was about 122 days. During that time period, Bitcoin saw, one final rally up of about 64%. And then what did they do? They didn't just lower the rates like this. Look at this purple chart. They didn't just do this stair stepper down to the bottom. No, they dropped rates down to virtually nothing. So when they dropped rates down to virtually nothing, what happened to Bitcoin's price? Well, COVID happened. They needed to stimulate the economy. Bitcoin dropped over 60% in less than a month. Demand destroying event, shakeout event that was just played at the beginning of this video. Shout out to, I believe it's Black Swan Capitalist for that clip right there. But then after that, what happened? Well, after the rates were dropped down to zero, QE, money printing again. Money's easy, loans are easy now. Now the markets can recover. Now the bull run begins. Now everyone is shaking out of their positions. Now the elite bought as much crypto as they could right here. The whales bought as much crypto as they could down here. And then they rolled the bull run. Then we saw massive market, appreciation, massive price volatility to the upside. So what do we see happening right now? Well, Bitcoin's bear market kicked in, and then Bitcoin's pi cycle bottom indicator flashed right around here, right around this stage. I think it was like September or June, somewhere around there. And then they were raising rates. So they were raising rates while the market was bottoming. The market bottomed and they continued to raise rates up, and they paused rates in July and August right here. So they've been holding the line steady. Now they're planning on holding the line steady for the July 30th, 31st meeting all the way till March 20th. Then in March 20th will be the first rate cut. And then the meeting after that will be another rate cut. And then the meeting after that will be another rate cut. Then what happens there? Does something in the economy break on this stair stepper that they did? Just like what they did back in 2019, where they did this little stair stepper rate cut, rate cut, and then drastic rate cut. Will they do something like that? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. So over the course of 2024, cutting rates to try and usher in a soft landing is what they want to do, right? They want a soft landing. Will that we actually get a soft landing? I don't know. I'm not preparing for a soft landing. I'm preparing for something to break during this period right here of rate cutting. And then for them they drop rates rapidly down to nothing. We see flash crash for Bitcoin back down to 30K, all the way down here to retest this level, which was the resistance for over 200 days to retest that level. Then for us to work our way out of there when rates are low after the shakeout event. Then they start printing more money, and then the markets start rebounding again because they've shaken everyone out. They've liquidated the remainder of the leverage. And what's going to happen to the leverage, guys? What do you think? So I think we're going to push up into the ETFs a little bit further, but then going into March, I think there's some demand destroying event to bring the leverage all the way back down here to 2.5 billion on the open interest aggregated suite on this indicator right here. And then we start working our way back up. This is what I'm expecting. And then we start working the leverage back up again till 2025. So that's what I'm preparing for. Again, I could be 100% wrong. We could just roll around right now and go back down to 30K, or hey, you know what? We could just keep shooting up with the ETF approval and pass the all-time high, and then see some sort of shakeout event or 20 or 40% correction, going into March that brings Bitcoin back down to the all-time high and then work our way out of here up a little bit higher. That could happen. So I wouldn't hold your breath. You know, timing the markets always beats timing the markets, right? If you're trying to time your entry points, do you guys remember back, for those of you that have been in crypto for a long period of time, you guys remember what the emotions were like all the way back in December of 2022? People were very, very bearish around here. The Bitcoin, bulls were trying to get Bitcoin lower. They're like, I'm so bullish on Bitcoin that I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to go down to $14,000 to $12,000, because when you measure the drop from the last bull run before this previous bull run, it was 84%. So they just used the measurement of the percentage of the drop. We're like, we're only at 77%. To do an 84%, that brings Bitcoin down to 10K. So they were waiting for that to happen. When in reality, that's not what happened, right? We went up from there. And so I wouldn't hold your breath for a further sell off to the downside. That's like people that are holding their breath right now, thinking that Bitcoin's going to come back down to this level before they have any crypto, right around 30 to 32K. That might not happen, guys. Even with the Federal Reserve dropping interest rates, we might not see Bitcoin down at that level. If the ETFs get approved and we see Bitcoin fly to 50, 55, almost to the all-time high, then, well, what would that look like? If Bitcoin goes back to the all-time high, what would a 20, 30, 40%, a 40% correction would bring Bitcoin back down to $40,000. So people that are waiting to get Bitcoin down at 30K, they might be out of luck. Now, obviously, it's not the smartest to be FOMOing into Bitcoin right now or crypto in general and be buying at these highs, because you guys see what happened. People that bought into Bitcoin at $45,000, almost 46K, thinking that Bitcoin's going to pass 50K, they got dumped on, they got liquidated, they got wiped out. And if people are buying the dip right now, thinking that the markets are going to continue to go up, if the ETF gets denied, then the markets, would most likely see a sell-off. So it's very, very risky right now. But where are you going to see mass appreciation elsewhere in the macro? So when in doubt, zoom out. Everything has become more expensive over the past few decades. In the last 5 years, if you saved everything in dollars in your bank account, housing got 60% more expensive, oil got 59% more expensive, food got 29% more expensive. But over the last 5 years, if you saved in Bitcoin, housing got 81% cheaper, oil got 79% cheaper, and food got 83% cheaper, because you're playing the long game. You're not playing the short game of the 5, 10, 15, 20% corrections. A lot of people see that and they're like, I lost money. But if you've been holding over the past 5 years, even if you were to buy Bitcoin right now and you hold till 2030, the thesis that Bitcoin is going to become more valuable over time with every single halving, because Bitcoin's supply is only 21 million, a max supply, and there's only so much that can ever be mined. Well, it's scarce. The US dollar is not scarce. And so that's why we're talking about crypto every single day on this channel, because we are backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going to continue to go down in value. That's been a fact ever since the dollar was taken off the gold standard in 1971, and led to massive inflation, massive credit card debt for Americans, and blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and cryptocurrencies are going up in interest. That's the truth. And together, you know where we're going. We're going camping on the beaches of the moon. Guys, check out the other videos on the channel. I came out with a video talking about top 10 crypto coins to build your empire. You definitely want to give that a look. And if you wanted to discover our top altcoin picks first before these videos come out and get early bird access to our financial education platform when that is launched with no previous crypto trading experience required, all you need to do, go to the link in the description below. It's bullrunners.com. Click the button on the page, put in your best email address. You'll be instantly subscribed to our video newsletter to get the breaking updates first, because we like to give you the best information to help you prepare for the worst that's yet to come in this economy. You're going to get instant access to our free Telegram group where we post updates first as well too. And also, you're going to be camping with us on the beaches of the moon. So I will see you guys on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.